My Gill, state of corruption. Now, did you see that news? Did you see the article? I'll show it to you. Behind Pence Air Force 2. Cancellation. A drug dealer. A drug dealer? Well, wait a minute. Now, who told you it was a drug dealer? In fact, what I told you was it was a drug cartel. Not any drug cartel, the largest drug cartel in this country. I told you they own treatment centers, hospitals, pharmacies. Well, Pence was going to visit Granite State Recovery, the largest treatment center of all New England. Now, before we go further, we're going to take a stupid test. Because that's what they're hoping. They're hoping you're stupid. Now, here's a small cut. Just a reminder that I told you they were going to kiss the ass of the drug cartel. And the president is informed by an investigation. This could be embarrassing. So watch that clip. I believe what I'm going to tell you stopped Vice President Pence from landing in Manchester in mid-flight. Because he was going to go to New Hampshire and kiss the drug cartel right on the ass. And I believe this investigation turned around and made a phone call and said, you better not. This could be embarrassing for the president. And trust me, it would be. You don't call New Hampshire a drug den and kiss the cartel. Now, who broke the news? The news that was going to show that I was right. A guy by the name of Trent Spinner. Spinner. Right, well, he spun one. Now you think about this. I want you to Google this guy's name. White House. White House. Didn't come from the White House. Didn't come from the president. It came from Trent Spinner. And if you look at Spinner, who he was the executive editor to Union Leader and WMUR, the entities that I've called that was corrupt. Union Leader calling Dick Aganos, the head of this cartel, Citizen of the Year. They're covering for them. They're protecting the drug cartel, as they were before. I'll show you small cuts. Who pays the bills? There's the question in interviews. The cartels pays the bills for WMUR and Union Leader. They are in bed together. They were trying to show you in there was I was talking to a Union Leader reporter that I was showing him the evidence to take pictures of, except for it didn't make the paper. See, the problem I have is that these people are paying the bills. Who's the biggest advertiser in Channel 9? Who's the biggest advertiser? A Union Leader. Maybe it's just those plaintiffs. That's what I'm dealing with. This guy Spinner just spun one on you. Let me explain. And then we'll go on explaining the stupid test. Now, you'll see multiple posts. The drug dealer turned out to be Jeff Hatch, a former NFL player, played for the Giants. Now, what he was the front man for Granite State Recovery. Not just any front man. This guy's going to your schools, speaking to students and student athletes. Again, you'll see cuts and news clippings. Oh, wait a minute now. You'll see news clippings that he's working the campaign for Senator Jean Shaheen. And you'll see those clips. I told you her job was protect the drug cartel. I told you the husband, Bill Shaheen, runs a network of corruption. The same evidence I've given the FBI and the DEA. This is exactly who they are. The same attorney that I went after the drug cartel because nobody was doing anything. The people investigating were protecting them. The newspapers were protecting them. This is business in the billions. But there she is. And there's Hatch. The NFL Players Union supports Senator Shaheen in her efforts for opioids. Really? Then why is Bill Shaheen the opioids lobbyist? She's getting rich from the opiate industry. Why does New Hampshire have the worst rate of overdoses in this country? Okay. Now again, they think you're stupid. Hatch got arrested in the summer, July, of 2017. That's 2 years ago. He was working at the treatment center this whole time. Drug dealer, going from Lawrence to Salem, in distribution. Fentanyl, the drug that's killing everybody. Back, small clip. DEA told him that it was coming out of the treatment centers, coming from Lawrence into Salem. That's a bingo, folks. What this practice is, this gives hard evidence about the drug dealers and sponsoring it. You see, these are the offenses. Now, we've got a court case. You don't know about the court case with Antigos, Cruz?
No.
Did you know that they were the biggest drug dealers in New England?
Is that in here?
It is in there.
Okay. So what would you like me to do?
We've got 45 witnesses that need protection.
Okay.
That we're in court right now with Judge Delker in Brentwood.
Okay.
We need the protection. You're going to see text messages in there.
Okay.
Deliveries from Boston, in the Lawrence, in the Salem, moved by motorcycles.
Could I just have...
Also means the DEA knew, and we got a tractor trailer load of fentanyl, thousands of pounds. They didn't tell you where it came from. They didn't tell you who were arrested. And they certainly didn't tell you it went back out on the streets. But it did. Okay, so now this guy, they knew. Yet he was allowed to go on the campaign with Shaheen. He was allowed to talk to students in school. He was there to counsel the addicted. You mean he was selling them drugs? Hatch worked for the cartel. This guy's spinner spun one. What they did was, here you go. I'm going to give you a small clip of the FBI too, just so you know that they knew and that I told them. 3 attorneys in hiding because they're afraid to be murdered. My attorneys. This is how big this is. This drug cartel has corrupted the state, as it has many other states. But I am telling you, they're in the hospitals, they're in the treatment centers. I have witnesses from the treatment centers. They're selling drugs out of the treatment centers. You can't bring this back to the state, which is why I'm in Washington. As the DEA, you ready? The DEA goes to the FBI. He goes, did you tell the president? The FBI goes, I didn't tell the president. My job is protecting the agonos in this cartel and Bill Shaheen. Well, the FBI goes, well, to the DEA. Well, did you say anything? We're partners with the cartel. Are you kidding me? But they knew that they were going to shake hands with the drug cartel. How did they know? It's Gill in his evidence. He's given it to AG Barr. He's giving it to U.S. Durham. There is an investigation. Uh-oh, we got a problem. Now, the DEA didn't know, the FBI didn't know. Sununu was on the tarmac, remember? Flowers in hand. Nice, neat prom dress. He didn't know. None of them knew. That means there was an outside investigation. Now, ready? Who in an investigation would be a weak link? Well, you know that guy who's the cover for the... Because Granite State said, I didn't know. But the guy who's the face of the recovery center. Well, you know, there's paperwork about him being arrested. Right. Selling fentanyl. Well, if they investigate that, we got a problem. We got a loose end. He wasn't going to jail. They promoted his ass. He was the face of the operation. Now, They turn around and go, we got to throw them somebody. We got to throw them off track. He's the bad guy. You see it all the time. You get a doctor's assistant get arrested for selling drugs. What about the doctor? What about the company? In this case, you know who a drug dealer works for? A cartel. Right. So they turn around and give us Hatch. In 2 years, and recently, campaign going to school, in 2 weeks he's going to jail. 2 weeks he goes from being sentenced. What happened to those hearings? What happened to those investigations? Where was the DEA going, Shaheen? We arrested him. He's going to jail. He wasn't going to jail. He is now. You see, it's all a lie. It's a cover-up. You turn that page, you find the drug cartel. You find those limited corporations that own these treatment centers. That's what we're doing. So President Trump, you're not buying this bullshit. And you're not the one, they're not the ones that gave you that evidence, and you know that's true. You know how easy it is for them to be found out? They do, and they're panicking. These guys are running for the exits. Trust me, they will all beg to cut a deal. People across this country, we are right here. Know this. The people that protect this drug cartel is the deep state. That's Shaheen, Senator Jean Shaheen. The DEA, the FBI, the IRS with extortion. We are playing a game of dominoes. Now I'm playing that game. You're going to see 2 videos coming up. One with the Treasury showing you evidence with the Freedom of Information Act of their own extortion. They are going to find themselves. We get a case number because there is an investigation. Are you ready? I've got a Freedom of Information Act going to the FBI. They're going to have to turn over all those evidence in years. You know where you're going to find that same drug cartel, that same deep state, the corruption in the IRS and the extortion. Either entity gets them all, which was always my plan. Now you think about this with a plan. How did I know they were shaking hands with a drug dealer? I told you. I know they're shaking hands with the drug cartel and what's behind this. Now, if they've tried to murder me, the FBI knows this. I will show you the evidence of the murder attempts, murder for hire, that the FBI has it evidence and admits it through U.S. Attorney Lullen. Right. I set the FBI up with their own U.S. attorney. I'll show you the evidence, I'll show you the list, and I'll show you U.S. Attorney Lullen had that evidence. Well, you're going to have to keep sharing. You're going to have to tell friends and family, I'm not doing this by myself. I'm not doing this for myself. But you need to keep me alive a little longer. I've got to carry this ball across the line. And we're close. Mike Gill, State of Corruption.